To show you is a prime example of why conservatives fucking lose. Now, as soon as I say that, you get bent out of shape people that generally support Republicans and say, well, libertarians, what have you guys won? Either libertarians ain't won shit either for the same exact fucking reason. So it can apply to them. The only difference is there's not a party generally associated with the libertarians that have some sort of control and power. Yet, here you are. So you guys have all this supposed representation, yet still continue to hold L's. And I'm going to show you exactly where this comes from and why they lose. And it's the utter neglect. I've been having speeches about this for the better part of a decade. It's been the utter neglect from both conservatives and libertarian of culture, thinking that it's not valuable, think it's trivial, think it's not something that they need to worry about, and then it blows up in their face, and they wonder why there's a whole fucking slew of fucking like leftists that control goddamn every aspect of entertainment and stuff like that. You motherfuckers had you lost everything. Conservatives they only got country music. You ain't got country music, and you ain't got NASCAR anymore. You've lost everything. Everything that was considered something that was more akin to your line of thinking, you fucking lost. Something that's not related to or rather associated with politics. Here's another example of it. Mike Cernovich, some of you guys know, is one of the fucking. I've seen him make some bad takes. This is obviously one of his worst takes that he's made in this regards. But it certainly does represent a lot of this shit. This is what he said. He says today's comic book reader is a man in his 20s and 30s. Gen X freaks out over Spider-Man being whatever as they/we read comic books or read comic books as kids. Kids aren't being influenced. My bros, kids aren't reading comics. He says it's incel man children. Oh, man. That doesn't sound like a fucking female leftist, a blue-haired leftist at all, Mike Cernovich. Says, let them read their comics in peace. Oh man, this guy's he's a piece of work, man. Piece of work. Let's break down why this is a dumbass statement. I don't know if you've paid attention. As much as I rag about these movies and shit, I don't know if you've paid attention to what companies have been just shitting out fucking $500 million, $1 billion movies over the last, I don't know, decade or so. And what is at the top of them bitches? I'll give you a hint. It's comic book related material. Now you can say, well, those are movies. Those movies are based on comic books. The stories that they got largely, even in the MCU, from fucking Iron Man 1 to Infinity War, which is just a rehash of the Infinity Gauntlet, they got from fucking comic books. Well, I didn't know about this character from a comic book. I know about him in the cartoon. Oh, great. You watched the cartoon based on a comic book. So, Superman, and what they're talking about, for those of you that don't know, John Kent, who is now Superman, which is, son of Superman, is now the Superman, and he's now homosexual. And he's trying to diminish the meaning of that from a cultural standpoint, because, hey, nobody fucking reads these comic books. Nobody cares. For one, you're talking about, by the way, a brand that is so associated with American comic books. This is why specifically what Cernovich says is especially retarded, right? Is because Superman transcends just being in a comic book space. He's an American cultural icon, right? That S on the chest, that's a cultural iconic thing. There are people that have never read a book know exactly who the fuck Superman is. So, of course, when you do something like that to a character as such, it's a big deal in any given space, considering who that character is. And if you think that does not mean anything, it doesn't matter, and it's certainly of no cultural influence, you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry, Mike. That's a retarded statement. See, what a lot of these people do, and again, conservatives have this to worth, they think a lot of this stuff is trivial, right? I think even he's one of those guys that think college football even is trivial. See, the difference between the person that understands cultural influence and the jackass is that the jackass, which is what Mike Cernovich is in this case, and I'm not saying it just because this comic books are my space. No, I'm saying he's a jackass because he assumes what he gives a fuck about, or even what his individual children give a fuck about, represents the world at large, or has no cultural influence. That's when I say cultural ineptness, which is a state, by the way. I use that more as a noun, not an adjective. But the reason why I use that term is because that's what they are. They're oblivious. It's, for example, me, because I'm American, thinking that soccer is a meaningless thing. Now, obviously, that didn't mean, I'm come from that kind of side of things, growing up, not only playing it, being a big FIFA guy myself. Of course, I don't know that. I'm just using that as a hypothetical. But it's like me, because we have sports that are bigger in this country, saying that there's no cultural influence of football, soccer, because I don't care about it. Even though it's the fucking world sport, right? I don't individually care about it. It doesn't really impact me or the people that I'm close to. Therefore, it doesn't matter. Right? This is trivial. Oh, I care about, chopping trees and going out hiking and shit because, you're badass. I get it. But to act as if this stuff isn't significant is why you lose, because you have a control of nothing. This is the reality of what a lot of conservatives don't seem to understand, as well as people that value liberty. For example, let's talk about the previous, or rather the upcoming generation. They don't, for the most part, know, maybe outside of the president, they have no idea who are the representatives that live near them. They can recite probably a Beyonce lyric from front to back, or whatever artists that are popping these days, whatever is in whatever video game that they're playing. They can recite those back to front, having fucking no idea who the person that may live next door to them that makes laws on their behalf, having no idea. You know why? Because that means something to them. That's more important to them, right? Why do you think that Democrats deploy these people? You might think they're stupid. It's like when y'all were laughing off AOC. I said the same thing. AOC, bartender, she's ditzy. And I was like, y'all are laughing her off, but you're making a grave mistake. And now you see how influential that chick is because you wrote her off. She was more so aiming at the culture, and that's how she won. You continue to lose. You continue to lose because you think this stuff, whether it be from music on up to comic books to movies, all of these things are just trivial things that people are stupid participate in those human affairs. Who cares what it is they think? There's a bunch of people that do. They may not be you, but it's a valuable thing. And why I say time and time again, it's culture, politics. It's politics on the downstream. If you change the culture, you change the politics by default. The reason why you have gained zero momentum, the country has moved closer to absolute socialism. You've seen in the last year how much these leftists control, right, of things that you like, from entertainment things to entertainment things, these that you find essential, how much they control because they have played the long game and infiltrated those things that you thought were trivial, that you thought didn't mean anything. It's not just that they kept you out, right? A lot of people would like to say that. They like to think, if you were of this mind of thinking, they wouldn't let you. No. That's only part of it. The other part is that you didn't value it at all. Hell, in a lot of cases, you still don't. Some people have woke up and realized how important some of this stuff is. But in a lot of cases, you don't. It didn't matter to you. You didn't care because who cares, right? You're the smartest person in the room. You have the best ideas in the world. Who cares what that ditzy artist or ditzy actress or anything like that? Who cares, right? Oh, it's the same thing. Aubrey Huff, he says a retarded statement. He talks about incels and people of those ilk saying, well, those people that play video games. When was the last time you got laid? Like, nigga, you not funny. You're not. You're not funny. You're not funny. Like it's you're losing. You're losing and giggling and shit. What you say is like some cool quip or some clip that you might get for an Instagram or Twitter video with people that are already in your echo chamber already fucking agree. And your idea of change is going to scream at the fucking school board who told you to go fuck yourself. That's your idea of bringing about change. While you neglect all this other stuff because it's trivial and it doesn't matter. See, here's the thing. Hilariously enough, if we move towards a freer society, you'd have more of this, not less. Right? I've talked about what is libertarianism. Well, of course, libertarianism, for example, it's about basically ridding the geographical area of the politics anyway that are involved. So if they're not worrying about that, they have other things to worry about, like stuff that they may value. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's entertainment, maybe it's writing, whatever it is. You'd have more of that, not necessarily less, given if we move towards a freer, more prosperous society, I guess, culture. But what that is just yet another example. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody around us. It's just the incel men that give a fuck about Superman being gay. Nobody cares. Oh, shit. Why are all these young people coming out to be fucking Marxists? Oh, what happened? Oh, I don't know. Your retarded ass was going on about chopping trees and shit, and going out in the woods and hiking and other shit that you thought made you better than everybody else because, oh, it matters, right? And you didn't think those other things mattered. And meanwhile, those leftist infiltrators went in and got control of all of that. And that's why their influence is so widespread. It's why you can't get away from them no matter where it is that you're at, because they control it. That wasn't by accident. It's because they valued that. And for a very long time, both conservatives and libertarians said, you know what? We have the bright ideas. We're the smartest people that are in the room. Who gives a fuck what they think? We're going to go pontificate and show everybody how much we're smarter and how much we have the better ideas. They don't give a shit. And this person says, oh shit, I'm just going to roll this person out who they listen to in terms of their music. Oops, whoops, I got them for a fucking eternity, or rather their entire lifetime. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.